Everyone, we are here with actor Sarah Nicklin, and she has a new project coming out very soon called Popeye the Slayer Man. And we're gonna talk to her about it. Sarah, how are you?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. Um, yeah, so tell me about Popeye the Slayer Man. I'm thinking it has something to do with the now public domain character Popeye.
Shocking. What gave it away? Yes, absolutely. So Popeye became public domain January of this year. So he is now a horror villain, following the footsteps of Winnie the Pooh, Steamboat Willie, and several of those other types of films. So in our story, it's following a group of students who go into an abandoned spinach canning factory,
Of course,
of
of course.
course, trying to document the legend of the Slayer Man who supposedly haunts the factory. So it doesn't follow the traditional storyline of the comics. It's updating it in a more modern way that would be a reasonable explanation as to why Popeye would be existing in our modern world.
I I love I love this trend of, resurrecting older properties and using them for horror. It's so much fun. Like, um,
Exactly.
who doesn't want to see Popeye pummel somebody or, Mickey Mouse
He's got
eviscerate
he's got the arms
someone?
for it,
I
like those
know. He's had
those
them all
upper arms.
along. We were just
Yeah,
waiting for our chance.
that is made for pummeling.
So how did this project come about and how did you get involved?
Sure. So this one actually was just a good case of like right place, right time. Um, I was texting with my friend Kyle, who's one of the producers on the film, and we were just talking about like general life stuff, catching up a little bit. And he was saying how he's going to be doing another film in upstate New York. And I was like, oh, coincidentally, I'm going to be in New England working on a different project, like right around that same time. And he was like, oh, really? Let's see. We still have like a couple of roles open. Let me see if like we could just, if you're going to be there anyway, just put you into our movie too. And it worked out. The scheduling worked out. So I was able to go and do the first film in New Hampshire around the decay. And then I spent a week visiting with my parents because they live in New England. That's originally where I'm from.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I went over and did Popeye. So like it was very
Excellent.
convenient. Worked out
You
really,
were so
really
you were a
well.
very fancy, busy working actor and
I
uh,
try to be.
just popping
Am.
in to say hello to family.
Yeah, Popeye, give me a tweet. Give me
So
a
like,
tweet.
okay, so my question, I guess, is you said that the story is sort of updated.
So
Uh,
yeah, so it's not following. I mean, like in the comic books, it was the Popeye and olive oil and Bruno, and so there's no olive oil, there's no Bruno. It's not. It doesn't. It's not recreating any of the storylines from the comic strip.
okay. It's just pulling basically Popeye.
Yeah, it's just pulling the character of Popeye. Exactly.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Making him a slasher
And
villain.
so, okay, so I don't know if this is spoiler territory because it kind of happens in the beginning, but you get killed um, in the beginning.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
you never actually see me die.
was that in your contract?
No.
Damn.
But
She comes back as olive oil. That's how it is.
hey, I like
But
the way you're thinking.
like what was the kill like and how what's it like to film a kill scene with a public domain character?
I mean, it was just really fun. Like they've put a lot of like I don't know, references, into the original comic strip in the movie. So like there's cans of spinach, that's how Popeye gets his strength, pulling that out of the comic book. So, you hear him eating some spinach before he does some of his murdering
So that's like
rampage.
his prep work, that's his Red Bull. is.
Yeah, exactly. That's his Red Bull. Spinach gives you wings.
By the way, we're going to be billing Red Bull for that reference.
Oh, for the plug. Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
so it's cool. Um,
But
yes,
yeah, so in a lot of it, other than like those like fun like references, Easter eggs that are put in there, it's all the rest of it's just like filming like other normal slasher films in terms of the amount of like blood and gore, and practical effects, and all of the effects are practical on this one, which was really cool. So
that I mean, for an audience, it's definitely something. Me personally, I prefer the practical effects when at all possible. I
me
mean,
too.
sometimes, um, but does that help you as an actor?
Oh yeah, like 100%, 1000%. It's so much better to be there and actually have something that you can react to in the space, and that you know exactly what it's going to look like. I mean, sometimes things will get, augmented a little bit, in post if they have to add a little more blood or whatever. But that's so much better than like, oh yeah, there's gonna be some sort of demon thing over here, so just scream in that direction. And you're like, well, what kind of demon? What is it gonna look like? Like, you gotta give like more information than that. You have to create it all in your head. But yeah, having practical, yeah, I love it. So, and then getting sprayed with the blood and like all that sort of stuff, it gives you, there's very little I would consider like acting. It's just reacting because it's
Well,
just
that's all that acting is,
you know
John. That's we all know that.
acting is so.
Now you're seeing you have just one scene, yeah?
It's the opening of the film, like
Okay,
like the cold open to the
gotcha.
character. Yeah,
Which is always like one of the best. How long did it take for you to shoot the cold open?
it was just one day. It was really quick. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like in and out. We shot at night too. So the location where we were shooting the canning factory is actually a working feed factory. So like makes feed for animals.
Oh, gotcha.
So they were working during the day, and then they would shut down. We would come in at night, film all night,
Oh
and
man.
then they would go to work the next day. And so we had very set amount of time that we could be in
Yeah.
there every
Yeah.
day. But one of the benefits of that is that it had a very authentic layer of dust and grit and grime, and it got reset every day just
The
naturally.
crew came in, reset your
So
set.
yeah, sprinkled all the dust,
Yeah.
throughout the whole facility, just for
Very
the
good. Well, that's good for them.
yeah.
Um, so okay, so now that all the information that I was seeing is that there isn't like a solid release date yet, but
Not
hopefully
yet.
20 early 2025.
Yes, I can, from what I understand, I can confirm it will be it will be the first half of the year, roughly the first quarter of the year.
Okay.
First
So
half. Yes.
we're thinking okay, so first half, maybe first quarter.
So like 1 or
Is it
2
gonna
months.
okay.
Yeah.
So is it gonna be doing the is it going direct to VOD or is there gonna be a theatrical run? Do you know?
I know that there are talks of doing some theatrical as well. So VOD obviously for sure. But from what I understand, that is something that is currently being discussed, to see exactly uh, how many theaters, if when all that sort
Got
of
it. Got it.
yeah.
So like really what is I guess my next question would be like what's the appeal of, vilifying or turning these public domain characters into horror icons? What is it for you?
I mean, I just think it's fun. It's one of those like, there's that thing in horror where like you get enjoyment off of it being like so wrong or so weird or like so twisted, like, and I think that innately just comes out of doing that with these like beloved characters, that you see them in a certain way, you have a certain type of emotional attachment to them, and then they just take that and like twist it, and you're just like, oh man. It's one of those like kind of like groaning, but enjoying it at the same time
Right.
reaction. Which I
Right.
think is like even like all the press that this movie has been getting, even like the mainstream media, whenever they started talking about like Popeye the Slayer Man, like this, they talked about it on CBS mornings, and they had that all had that same reaction. They'll like and then start laughing. They'll like groan and then start laughing. So I think it's just something that's like fun, just brings a smile to people's faces.
Is there is there another character that should be coming out and coming to public domain soon that you would love to see as a
I'm
horror
kind of
icon?
curious. So I know Betty Boop is coming up soon, and I
Okay.
think Betty Boop as like in a horror movie would be hilarious. Like either on either side, like as the final girl or like as the killer. I think that like that would be amazing and really
I
fun.
can see that. That would be a lot. I would love to see her as, yeah. You know what? It would
Bill?
work both ways, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like she could
Uh,
be either. Either way, it would be very
what if
fun.
she was, what if she was both? And that was the twist. Great,
Oh.
we just ruined the movie that was even made. Excellent. Well, I had my eyes on Fred Flintstone. I thought that would be,
That
I
would
was
be
like,
cool.
that would
Yeah.
be freaky. Anyway,
Stone Age serial killer. You can
yeah,
turn
with
him
Barney as a
turn people to
henchman.
death.
Um, and they could feed the
Ew.
victims to Dino. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, there you
Is that
go.
coming up soon? I
I
haven't
don't know. I don't know. But
seen
at the very least, we have Popeye the Slayer Man coming.
it. We do.
So yeah, so very good. So first half of 2025, and Sarah, it's always so good to talk to you. And yeah, we will be looking for you and your killer scene
Thank
very, very
you.
soon. So
Thank
thank you so much
you.
for talking to us.
Absolutely. Happy to do it. Thank you for having me.